Okay, today's lesson is lesson 14, and we're going to Norway. We are off to another country in Scandinavia. Today we are going to visit Norway, Sweden's next door neighbor. I hope you haven't lost your rail pass because we're going to need it for the next couple more weeks. I can't wait to discover all the treasures waiting for us when we get there. Some of the quick facts for Norway are the population is 5.39 million. The government type is constitutional monarchy. The size of the country is 148,727 miles. The capital city is Oslo. The official language is Norwegian, and the landmark is Torghatten, or Hatton. The land and animals. Norway is famous for its fjords. A fjord is a long, narrow inlet created by a glacier along the coast of a northern landmass characterized by its steep sides or cliffs. Norway has almost 1,200 fjords that contribute to much of the coastland. The country has about 18,000 miles of coastland when you include the fjords, but only about 1,600 miles when you do not include them. The largest fjord in Norway is the Sognefjorden. At 127 miles long, it is the third largest fjord in the world and the largest fjord with no ice on it. When you visit Norway, you have to at least visit one fjord. All this coastland makes Norway an ideal spot to see some marine wildlife up close and personal. Most commonly, there are several species of whales and seals that have been seen along the Norwegian coast. Orcas, sometimes called killer whales, can sometimes be seen in the Norwegian and Barents Seas along Svalbard, a Norwegian archipelago in Arctic Ocean. It is thought that there are approximately 3,000 orcas living in these waters. They are known to be at the top of the food chain in the ocean, hunting in ruthless pods, a family group of up to 40 orcas. Their hunting techniques have sometimes been compared to a wolf pack, using many different tactics to take down their prey. They will eat anything from fish to squid, seabirds to seals, sea lions, and even whales. A female orca gives birth to one baby orca at a time every 3 to 10 years. The young orca will usually find a new pod as it grows up, but in some cases they stay with the pod they were born into for life. Want to know more about orcas? Although they are called killer whales, they are actually the largest member of the dolphin family. Maybe whoever gave them that name thought killer dolphin would hurt the friendly reputation of the smaller dolphins. Do some research to find out why the orcas are also known as killer whales and where the nickname came from. Look up videos and pictures of this amazing animal, preferably orcas swimming along the Norwegian coast. A famous landmark is there are so many fascinating things to see in Norway that you could spend months exploring the beautiful countryside. One thing that you won't find very many places on Earth, though, is a mountain with a hole completely through it. The Torghatten is possibly Norway's best-known mountain formation, with a hole 525 feet long and 115 feet high and 66 feet wide straight through the mountain. Local folklore says that the hole was formed by the arrow of a Viking god called the Horseman, but like many mountain formations, it was likely carved by ice and water erosion. This landmark is easy to get to, and a short 15 to 20 minute walk up to where the hole in the mountain begins. Food. Perhaps the most iconic Norwegian foods to try while visiting Norway are leftis, lutefisk, and like any Scandinavian country, pickled herring. Lefskis is a traditional flatbread made in Norway during holidays, especially at Christmas time. Although its ingredients are fairly straightforward, containing flour, potatoes, butter, and milk, It requires special leftist tools to make it the true Norwegian way. Lutefisk is another dish traditionally eaten at Christmas time. It is made of dried cod soaked in a lye solution to tenderize and rehydrate. It is then rinsed, skinned, and boiled until the fish has a gelatinous consistency. It is commonly served with butter, salt, and pepper. Of course, pickled herring is just herring in a brine of vinegar and salt, standard Viking fare that has managed to survive and remain in the modern Norwegian diet. An optional extension activity is to look up some videos of making leftis and lutefisk. Which do you think you would rather eat? Would you try them both? What about pickled herring? If you are up to some adventure, look for pickled herring the next time you're in the grocery store. Transportation. Norway is a country with several islands, unique landforms, and extreme weather, making it a unique land to travel. Have you ever driven through a tunnel in the mountains? Some people like to try to hold their breath all the way through the tunnels they drive through. Tunnels can be a lot of fun on road trips, and whenever you travel somewhere with mountains like Norway, you are bound to find a few. Lardendal Tunnel in Norway is the largest road tunnel in the world at 15 miles long. I wonder if anyone has held their breath through that tunnel. Norway is also the birthplace of modern skiing, but it wasn't always used for recreation the way we have come to think of skiing. Cross-country skiing was once an efficient form of transportation in the cold winter months in Norway. The oldest preserved ski found in Norway is 2,300 years old, and there is evidence to suggest that Norwegians used skis as far back as 4,000 years ago. History. Norway is known now as a peaceful nation, but it has endured much to come to that place. Norway was home to many of the ancient Vikings, who made a name for themselves pillaging and looting other places to gain wealth. They were known by other people groups as fierce warriors and barbarians. As the culture of the Vikings arose, centered around family groups called clans, a more widespread organizational structure arose to settle disputes and determine punishments. When conflicts came up, the issues would be resolved at a communal gathering called a thing. This was an early form of democratic government where every free man had a say. This tradition lives on today as the name for the Norwegian parliament, Stortinget. It literally translated as the big thing. An activity break. The famous Viking Eric the Red was exiled from Norway and banished from Iceland for 3 years, presumably as a result of his decision handed down at the thing. Look up Eric the Red and his son Leif Erikson. What are they known for, and where did they explore? Do you want to know more about Vikings? The Norse Vikings did not appreciate the Christian monks and missionaries that tried to share their faith with the people. Because the chieftain of the Norwegian people feared that conversion would take away the power that they had, it took several centuries for these new beliefs to be accepted. It is evident from some of the oldest churches in Norway that even when Christianity was becoming more and more accepted, the people were mixing this new religion with their old Norse mythology, just in case one was wrong. And that concludes our lesson 14 on Norway today.